Okay, I believe we are live. We are live. Welcome to the weekly Tuesday live stream here at the Guitar Collection. I've got some really cool guitars to show you today. Can't wait to get into it. But in the meantime, let me know where you are tuning in from. I would love to hear from you. I'm here in Austin, Texas. I have to say, it is hot. I'm keeping the air conditioning going during this live stream, so I hope you don't mind, and I hope it's not too loud. I think it is fairly quiet. Only when I'm completely silent can you hear it. So, however, I do always like to turn it off because some of the nuances of the guitar are just lost a little bit when there's a little bit of this noise in the room. But yeah, let me know where you are tuning in from. If you're here, if you're watching in the future as well, let me know if you're watching this after the fact, because it's always interesting to see who's catching this later in the day or the next day, or shoot, even years later. That would be fascinating. Hello, Don from LA. Nice to see you here again. You are a regular. I love to see it. Welcome. And yeah, wow. So as you guys see from the title and the description in this video, there's some really cool guitars here today. Hello, Vince from Italy. Cool. I'll give you all a brief little rundown of what we've got. I have this Carlos Juan Busquiel from 2023. He's, of course, a Spanish maker. He's based in Petrer, which is like right near Alicante, where I studied. In 2019, January through the July. So it was really cool. I visited his workshop and I recorded there as well. Good morning, James from Vancouver, Washington. Nice to see you. So this guitar is beautiful. And I've actually made a full video on this guitar before. So nice. I need to get a little bit better in tune. Aha. Sharp third string. That will do it. Well, those of you that are classical guitars nerds like me will appreciate this or not appreciate this. I broke my thumbnail this past week, and look how short it is. I have to say, it's been a very long time since I've broken my thumbnail this badly. Like, it was so far in that it actually hurt to play for a couple of days. Pierre, hello from France. Also, 10-minute break between students. Oh, great. Awesome. All right, good students today or bad students? Got to give me the breakdown here, Pierre. I hope you all are enjoying your morning, or I guess in France or Italy, you are enjoying a late afternoon. Sandy, Utah here. 1 day left on the ski season. Wow. So are they powdering up the slopes? Are they using artificial snow? That's pretty cool. I've been to Utah to ski before, actually. That's awesome. Great. Well, I just showed you this Carlos Juan Busquiel, which I will present to you more formally here shortly. But also, wow, look at this thing. This Jean-Noel Rohe guitar from 2024. A French luthier that is picking up so much popularity because of his incredible craftsmanship. These beautiful sounding guitars. I mean, my gosh. And can you believe the way this one looks? It is just incredible. Scheller tuners, this thing goes the whole 9 yards. These are some of the most in-demand French guitars. It's probably the most in-demand young French maker. A lot of power to this one. might just want to keep playing this one. But yes, this is Jean-Noel Rohe, and it's beautiful. I have a full album of photos of all of these guitars, actually. And then the last guitar I'll show you today is by Dominique Field from the year 2001. This is a gorgeous one with this beautiful set of Madagascar back and sides here. That is just beautiful. I mean, look at that. It's one of these finishes that look like, it just looks like glass, or almost like the finish doesn't exist. Like you're seeing, like it's the wood itself that's shiny. And like any light you lean it, it's gorgeous. But of course, it's about the sound. This thing is, you know, there's a reason why Dominique Field is a legend. And it has such an incredible response. Bell-like tones. Jeez. This Dominique Field is one that just inspires you to be more and more creative and sensitive. That's the word I was really looking for. A lot of overtones on this one, a lot of sympathetic vibrations. Yeah, this one's a dreamboat, I have to say. This is Dominique Field, 2001, number 146. And always fascinating looking at these instruments because it has all of the little... That's the cat. Do you hear that? Hey, buddy. Oh, gosh. Look at that. He's in the stream. He wants to go to the window. He's doing his rounds today. By the way, speaking of interruptions... We might have UPS as an interruption here today as I'm expecting a delivery. And it says between now and 1 p.m. So, you know what? If fate has it my way, it's going to be right in the middle of a very detailed presentation of a guitar. That's just how it goes. Yes, the cat is here, and he might be here to stay. He looks quite bored. Poor cat, during the live stream. Can't play with him there. He's just going to put a few scratches in guitars and he'll be out, okay? I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, and the elephant in the room. Not the cat, but the elephant in the room, as we say. My haircut. What do you guys think? It's terrible. I asked the barber, classic, right? The classic question. Can you just take a little bit off? And they went buzz cut, basically. It was actually one of the more strange experiences at the barbershop because she told me, hey, I'm sorry it's so slow today. My razor is broken. And I said, oh, no problem. And she's like, yeah, I have to just cut it from the side to make sure I don't cut you. And I was like, you're risking cutting me right now because the razor's broken. Why don't you borrow one of the other people's razors? You know, it's pretty bizarre. What type of strings do you have on that cat? High tension. Oh gosh, when I start doing raschiato, that's when the cat becomes high tension. Stressed. Actually, it used to bother him, and now it doesn't as much. You know, just like a human, if you start building up to the volume, it doesn't scare them, you know. But if all of a sudden I strum, it's very alarming for him. Poor kitty. Okay, well, I will start by showing you this Carlos Juan Busquiel guitar. Wow. Well, by the way, if you're just joining, I see there's a bunch of people here. Say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And between guitars, I will answer questions that you all may have. But anyhow, I'll begin by showing you this guitar. This instrument was made by Carlos Juan Busquiel, who's a Spanish maker building incredibly powerful and beautiful traditional instruments. He's based in Petrer, which is right near Alicante. It's like right outside of Alicante, which is where I actually studied in 2019 in the Master Guitar Alicante program. And funny enough, I visited Carlos's workshop. He had me record something for a really cool video series that he has going on. And I'll put a little clip of it on screen here for the future video. But anyways, yeah, so I recorded a video in his workshop back then in 2019, and now I've seen several of his instruments since then. This one is from 2023, and I have to say, he keeps on getting better. This instrument isn't just really beautiful and traditional sounding in a very natural Spanish way, but it also has a really surprising amount of punch and volume to it. It's definitely one of these guitars that makes you just feel like, I don't know, do I really need a double top or lattice brace guitar? This thing already has a lot of volume. And to be honest, this is the type of traditional guitar that I gravitate towards. Ones that have still a lot of punch and volume, but don't sacrifice things like sustain and, oh, there goes the cat. He's had enough, right? I was saying, these are the types of traditional guitars that I gravitate towards. Ones that have all of this natural nuance and beautiful characteristics to the sound that you get from a traditional guitar, but don't sacrifice the volume that, you know, I so want from the modern guitars. And so this is a really nice step in that direction. And I have to say, it's a very comfortable guitar to play too. And the sustain is really quite something as well, but I'll get more into the sound in a second. But I did want to show you a little bit about the specs of this guitar, because the rosette on this instrument is gorgeous. Just look at the subtle colors on it. It's black with little, maybe it's little dark red lines. It's very difficult to see, but it's not totally black and white. But you'll see this pattern going on that you'll also see down here on the bridge. You'll see the one that's the outer rings of the rosette is the one that's on the tie block of the bridge. Maybe a little piece of Madagascar rosewood here on the bridge. No raised fingerboard, totally traditional guitar there. Obviously a spruce top. And then when I turn it around, you'll see this beautiful piece of Madagascar rosewood with this really nice sapwood down the center, which I love how right here at the heel, you have it almost completely fill that little heel in. And then it tapers away like a little candle, a little flame from a candle. So nice. It's just little details like that that just make you appreciate the guitar and enjoy it a little bit more. Of course, it contributes in some way to the sound as well. Of course, the piece of wood that's chosen, not the flame effect of the sapwood. Moving on now, of course, I have to say something about the neck here. The neck is thin, a little bit D-shaped with no ridge to it. I have to say I find it very comfortable, especially for bar chords. That's where the D shape starts feeling really good. When it's thin and D-shaped, the bar chords feel great. I have never feel like I have issues playing difficult passages on this instrument either. Maybe I'll play a few in a little bit here. But moving on up to the headstock, you will see his design here of his own design of the head, which is very nice. I mean, obviously inspired by several other makers of the past, maybe a little bit of Romanios inspiration here. And also you'll see a little bit of sapwood going along here, maybe on this ebony head plate here, almost right down the center, really quite beautiful. It's topped off with Alessi tuners, and gosh, very smooth, very nice tuners. I have to get to the sound of this instrument because it's very exciting to play. First, I'll tune for one moment. That one flat. There we go. Okay, so listen to the sound of this thing. Let's just start with a couple of chord tests here. Sorry, I'm getting distracted reading comments here. You can see me drifting around. I'm not so focused this morning. But yes, you can hear the power in these chords. My gosh. I mean, it really sings here on the trebles, and it's impressive because the basses rattle around so much, or rattle around isn't the right word, but they growl, you know? Sorry, I'm peaking the microphones a little bit here, but it's just a really fun guitar to play. It's like, it's powerful, it feels easy to play in both hands, and it sings, it really does, you know. it's a lovely guitar. Hope you're enjoying it too. I'm going to respond to some comments here. Let's see. Hello from North Florida. Hi, Don. Great to see you. I'm glad you like the touch of humor as well. Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to write anytime. Let's see. Bryn says, I was going to comment on the haircut, but you beat me to it. Looks fine. No need to trash your self-esteem. Hey, I didn't trash my self-esteem. I was just saying it was bad. If I cut it myself, then I would be trashing my self-esteem for saying it was bad. Jokes. Yeah, I'm embarrassed about it. But anyhow, what is the difference between a wolf tone and a sympathetic vibration? All right, Brent, great question. Two totally different things. Wolf tone is generally a negative connotation. I'll explain why. And sympathetic vibrations are a good thing. It's something that always happens on every guitar. And wolf tones pretty much also. It's just to what degree. How bad and obvious they are. Sympathetic vibrations, or if I play, let's say, an E here on the 3rd string, and then I mute the string, right? Everyone do this. Play an E. That's the 9th fret, for those of you that don't know your notes. Play that, and then mute. You hear how the E is still ringing, even though I plucked that note and stopped it. That's a sympathetic vibration. It's ringing the other strings. And why is it a vibration, not an overtone? Because if I mute all the other strings, like this, I'm kind of like barring in a way, but not applying pressure, and I play this, silence, right? In fact, it's funny as I hear a couple of other guitars speaking to me. But complete silence, basically, right? So, this is sympathetic vibrations when you play a note on the guitar and it rings other strings. Now, some guitars, the other strings ring incredibly loudly with sympathetic vibrations, which is to some people's preference and others not so much. I'm somewhere in between. I cannot have a guitar that the sympathetic vibrations are so dry that I don't hear anything. And also, sometimes when the sympathetic vibrations are too overwhelming, it takes away from the fundamental of the sound, which is the pure note, right? Just this E, not the E that's an octave up, that's ringing, or an octave lower, or some sort of, like, some people call it natural reverb, right? The sympathetic vibrations, the other strings ringing the same exact pitch. So that's a sympathetic vibration that happens on basically every note that is one of the open strings, especially the ones that are the bass strings. So if I play a D, right, we've got this D here. I don't know if you can hear this through the live stream, but when I play this D rings also, right? So if I muted that and then I stop the note, there'd be almost nothing. Although some of the other strings are ringing other partials. We're going to get too deep into it there. So anyways, the most strong ones are the ones where you play a note that is truly one of the strings of the guitar, sometimes like a fifth of it. So if I play B, this 6th string rings a lot because B is the 5th of E, and that's one of the strongest partials. So if I do this, it's almost louder than the actual note when I stop it, right? That's a sympathetic vibration. I hope that shows with enough detail. A wolf tone is when there's certain tones on a guitar. Of course, this gets detailed, so I apologize if I say something slightly wrong here. But it's when a guitar is overly responsive, that jumps out of a guitar too much to where it basically cancels out the vibration on the instrument. So you play the note, it shoots out, and then it immediately dies. And that is a bad thing on a guitar. Although, every note, when a note just dies on a guitar, it's not always because it's a wolf tone. There's many other reasons as to why notes die on certain instruments. It could be that a brace is too thick in a certain area under the top. It could be that it's too thin. It could be the piece of wood has an inconsistency there. So the word wolf tone, the phrase wolf tone, it gets thrown around just so easily. It's just like, here, wolf tone, oh, there, wolf tone, That is not always the case. It's not always a wolf tone. This is from my understanding. Maybe that clears it up. Whoever wants to argue with me, bring it on, okay? I'm kidding. Learning about this stuff every day. But that's generally a bad thing. Now, you'll hear people talk about instruments, and if there are a lot of wolf tones, as in like there's notes all over the place. A lot of times these wolf tones, by the way, don't exist on one string. They exist on several strings. So If E was a wolf tone, then it would exist here, and a lot of times it also exists here, and it also exists here, and sometimes even here. Sometimes it has to do with how the top is tuned, what the main air resonance of the guitar is, what the top resonance is, how it interacts with the back resonance. It's too deep to get into, and I'm not a luthier, and also a lot of times it feels like luthiers are also battling this thing of trying to eliminate them without much explanation as to how it's happening or why it's happening on certain guitars. I'm gonna stop going any more deep with that there, but yeah. Let's see other comments. Interesting fret marker. DSW comments. Yes, this one has a permanent fret marker. Oh my gosh, it is permanent, right? No. I'm an idiot, huh? This is a sticker. It looked perfect. Should I leave it? It's a sticker that comes right off the guitar. And it was even photographed this way because I thought it was permanent. That is so funny. I'm taking it off, y'all. No, I'm not going to do it during the stream. I'm going to end up ruining my nails. But this is not a marker, and I have to say I haven't been tricked by that in a long time. But that's just a little sticker that comes right off. So, okay, other comments here. Vicenzo says, what is the title of the last two pieces you played? I think you mean this one, which is the second Venezuelan waltz, Adriana, by Antonio Laro, the Venezuelan composer. It's one of his famous Venezuelan waltzes. And then the other one I played was the minor section of Granada by Albéniz. While I was playing that, I was thinking more about your question, Brent, and it's funny because I was going to say there's absolutely no relationship between wolf tones and sympathetic vibrations, and there isn't. But there is when you're talking about wolf tones. It would be important to mention that if you're searching for them on your guitar, which have fun, but if you're searching for them on your guitar, you would want to mute the other strings so there aren't sympathetic vibrations. Because you can imagine it's hard to hear if a note is short if other strings are ringing, right? Like say this was a wolf tone on this guitar, which it's not. This is D. But if I left everything ringing, I would say, listen how beautifully this note rings, or B for that matter. I would say, oh no, it's not a wolf tone, right? But when you mute everything is when you see if the note dives down right away, right? It doesn't, so not on this guitar. Hey, good to see you here, man. Yeah, I love the Moorish influence on Albéniz pieces. My gosh, isn't that so cool? I love Albéniz. All those little ornaments, I feel I hear the Moorish influence. How about you? I spent enough time on this Carlos Juan Busquiel. It is on the website. I previously made a video on it. The owner needed to sell the guitar, so I am consigning it for him. It is a very reasonable price. Check it out if you're interested. Talk about an amazing Spanish guitar for the money. I couldn't recommend it enough. It's easy to play, beautiful sounding, great sustain, and really immaculate condition. There might be a couple of little nail marks here. No rasguado marks under the strings, no string dings. I mean, it looks near brand new. I've seen guitars come from luthier's workshops that are in worse condition. So, all right. We really have a couple of special guitars following this. And they are in ascending order of price. So the cheapest one, least expensive one I played first. And then now I'm going to share with you a really, really nice guitar by the French luthier Jean-Noel Rohe. Now, Rohe has been making a name for himself in French luthier. These are immaculate looking guitars, and they have a really special sound that's obviously influenced by his luminaries of Field and Friedrich, Boucher. And what a nice combination of not only aesthetic details that nod their head towards these famous makers, but also in terms of the sound. It's his own, while still taking all these positive characteristics from these makers. I mean, when you look at this guitar, it really does look like his own style and his own instrument, especially after seeing these instruments for some years and finally getting my hands on one. But you know, you look at something like the headstock, which very closely resembles Dominique Field's, which I have right here, right? It is nearly identical of a headstock, it's really beautiful to pay homage in that way, but they do have slight differences. In fact, this headstock, maybe we'll put up a Field headstock right next to the Rohe headstock in the full video here. But this headstock has a little bit of more of a flat edge here, kind of distinguishing his own style, but paying homage to the masters, of course. And then when you look at the rosette, you will see a beautiful combination of colors. You'll see oranges and black and a little bit of red and some light colors, like a cream color right inside that little ring of orange. And then looking down at the tie block, very simple. This piece of bone here is nearly the same exact color as the spruce top, which I think is a nice touch. And then when you turn the guitar around, it is this incredible piece of Indian rosewood, right? I could tell you that this is something exotic, right? But it is just Indian rosewood and a gorgeous set. And I love the gradient of how it just slowly goes to darker. The center is nice and light colored and slowly goes to, darker at the sides. The neck on this guitar is it's a little bit on the thick side, I would say, but it's still very comfortable because the setup is very nice. It feels good in the hand. There's nothing strange like a big ledge or anything like that. It's rounded, but fairly D-shaped, a flat center here. Looking up at the headstock, like I said, obviously inspired by Dominique Field. You've got Scheller tuners, of course, top-of-the-line tuners for this, super amazing guitar. These are very difficult instruments to get with long wait lists and quite pricey. And then when you look inside the guitar, it is so cool how there are these two back braces that go down the center. He's got this kind of like his own brand of font followed by this little mosaic. And then 2024, number 112, you will see there. And then I know you can't see this right now, but looking inside of the guitar, you can see little side braces, or maybe what you would call peones, along the sides, which you'll see in he places them in very planned areas, because looking for them can even be a little bit tricky when you look in there with a flashlight. They're here and there, not everywhere, and it kind of points to the meticulous nature of his building. But I'm using a lot of words right now. I would really like to just play the guitar, have a listen with just a quick chord test here. And I have to say, it's so interesting because I think if I was blindfolded and I didn't know what this guitar was, I could tell you that it's a French guitar of one of the great French makers. because the characteristic of the sound is this departure from the Spanish sound in a way for me, in that it might have a little bit aggressive, a little bit less aggressive of a sound by nature, and maybe focuses a little bit more on sustain and fundamental. It really has this regal sound that I talk about when I play Dominique Field's guitars, Daniel Friedrich's guitars, and then has this responsiveness of some of the amazing Boucher guitars that I've tried over the years. It's really quite something. Maybe I'll test a little bit of Albanese. What was I trying to say? Maybe I'll test a little bit of Albanese's. That's what the tricky part of the sentence is. Trying to say, maybe I'll try a little bit of Granada by Albanese on this guitar. I'm doing everything wrong here. I got distracted ever since I went to the C. But it kind of fit, right? There's no fret dots on this one, so I would want to put a side marker on this guitar. 1 second. Yep. Okay. I'm waiting on a delivery here, so I'm making sure that I don't miss that, because it is a guitar. No surprise. Let's listen to that again. It just has such a pure sound. It's beautiful. What do you guys think? Let me know. I see motion at my front door. Okay, it's not for me. Cool. Yeah, so what are you thinking about this Jean-Noel Rohe? I have to say I have so much fun playing this one. It's one that I'd like to just keep on playing. To play some more things. Here's a little bit of Melodia de uma Noite by Silvestre Fonseca. lovely guitar. My biggest criticism, which is a very, very small one on this instrument, is that there's no fret dots anywhere. And I don't know how, as a luthier, you build a guitar and you think that no guitarist that ever will touch your instrument will need a fret dot. I mean, shoot, I've been doing this a long time and I need fret dots. I mean, I can slide my way around and find things, but if I'm performing somewhere and I'm relying maybe on a new piece that I just learned or whatever it is, I really need a fret dot. So I think that's just such a strange thing for luthiers to overlook. But anyhow, that is such an easy solution, is you can have one installed, or you could do what I do. I haven't done it on this guitar yet, but I put a little dot on here with either whiteout, or you can buy little sticky ones that go on the side that look real, as you saw on the Busquiel guitar. So it's just hilarious when that's not on there. But how many of you use fret dots? Am I in the? I know I could be in the minority here, so you'll have to let me know if I'm overreacting here. But I think it's just a silly detail missed on an otherwise amazing guitar. But I do get how aesthetically it's not so nice to see dots on the side if you're looking for something really clean. But yes, like Christopher says here, he says he likes one. I like one as well. I'll take more. I seriously, I enjoy having more dots, but one would be great, you know? So. But yeah, on a piece like that I haven't played in a couple of weeks, it's like, if I had the dot, I would know exactly where I was. See? Brent over here says, one more question. Do 12-hole bridges really work better than 6-hole bridges? The answer is no, they don't. Luthiers have this argument. Lots use 12-hole, lots use 6. This is a 6-hole tie block bridge. There's lots. Shoot, this traditional Spanish guitar by Carlos Juan Busquiel is a 12-hole. There's lots of luthiers that argue back and forth about this. Some say it's easier to change strings on one versus the other. Honestly, I find it the same to change strings on either. The sound-wise, it has to do with break angle and a bunch of little details that, in my opinion, it's very difficult for me to see how it matters very much, because almost everyone adjusts the action on the guitar at some point, or someone gets their action adjusted. So the break angle changes there if the action's ever adjusted. But exactly. Alex says a little whiteout if you like dots. I do. You can put it on whenever you want, then you can easily take it off. Yes, absolutely. In fact, I have mine right here, and I do this on every guitar that I cannot, before I record. Haven't recorded on this one yet. I find where B is, and then I make sure that it is the tiniest dot right on the center. And it works so well. It doesn't hurt the guitar at all. But see, now look at that. See, when I turn the guitar, shoot, even close up, you may not be able to tell that was a whiteout dot. I know it's not focusing, so you can tell. But now, I will be able to find my notes. Well, what a great guitar. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I'm going to be leaving this one out and playing it some more. It's not on the website yet. If you are interested in if you are interested in this guitar, please write me a message, send me an email. You'll see it in the description of this video or on guitarcollection.com. It's for sale, and you definitely can't go wrong. It's a beautiful instrument. Well, now we get to the Godfather. Dominique Field. What more can be said about a luthier that has, taken the lead of Daniel Friedrich and ran with it and made incredible instruments, and is now quite obviously a huge influence on not just the French makers, but many makers around the world. In fact, I had a couple of luthiers visit just recently that told me this was one of their favorite guitars that I had. And they were taking measurements and photos of the inside and stuff. And it's really cool to see that. You know, this guitar was made in 2001. And it is just, and you just have to hear it. Let's jump into it, right? The only way I can describe the sound is profound. I think I peaked the microphones a little bit, but my gosh, this instrument makes you stop on certain notes that you never stopped at before. Oh, and here is UPS. I have to be right back. I will mute my audio here. I have to go get a guitar and pull it in, okay? You can see it. 1 second. I am back. You know, I was going to pull it in here, but I don't want to accidentally expose the address or something like that, which would not be good for either me or the customer. And also, I can't take the guitar out because it's got to acclimate a little bit. Let's see. Alex says, I find your reviews of guitars very interesting. I'm both a player and a luthier, and seeing all these guitars and your comments on construction and hearing the slight difference is all very interesting. Oh, I'm glad, Alex. That's cool. You should write me a message. I'd love to see your guitars or chat with you. But let's hear a little bit more of this Dominique Field. my goodness. This guitar is something special. And, you know, it's such a difficult detail to describe as far as the sound goes. But this guitar inspires you to play at all different dynamics and all different tone colors. And why do I say this is difficult to describe? Because every guitar you can pluck like this, right? Really quietly. But why? Someone answer this one for me, because I'm constantly trying to figure out, why do some just inspire you to push that range more? You know, maybe it's that the tone is fuller in that range on particular instruments, or maybe it's the less sympathetic vibration, so you hear more of the fundamental. Maybe it's the more sympathetic vibration, so the sound is more filled in. I don't know what it is, but this instrument makes me want to be more expressive. And talk about a great choice when picking an instrument out for yourself. And for me, it's so obvious as to why this is a favorite of so many people, colleagues, professional colleagues that come over. It's just, there's so many things to explore, and the sounds are so bell-like. They just... They just come so... they come out of the guitar so clearly. And also with sustain. Wow. It's fun to play this guitar. And listen, this... It's like the pitches that I want to bring out, I hear differently on this instrument than my other guitars. It's like, this D comes out so well, right? Gosh, it's fun to play. I mean, you know, what's so strange about playing this guitar is, you know, if I play this, I'm playing E and E flat. They're so even with one another. It makes me feel like I'm on a keyboard playing back and forth, but as if the keyboard doesn't have hammers, and when you press the key, it's so instant. It's ridiculous. If this guitar didn't sound so natural, I would almost say it's like a digital sound in the way that the sound comes out immediately. I mean, the second it slips off my finger, it is the exact pitch and sound that you want. Sorry, I'm just drilling the sound into your head, but it's so nice. Tones on this guitar. Wow. My gosh. Well, I could play this guitar all day. Let me look at some comments here. Brent, hey Evan, do you warm up before you do the live broadcast if you're playing cold and switching from instrument to instrument? You are really quite new. Oh, thank you, Brent. I appreciate that. All I do is tune the guitars before I play because I have to get the room a little bit better looking. I have to get the guitars out of frame, but nearby me here. And I have to make sure everything is relatively in tune and that the strings are not like ancient or something. Check the levels, post on social media, making sure people know that the stream is going to be happening, and of course replying to some emails. That's always part of it. But thank you, Brent. Yes, it's sometimes tricky playing cold. But you know what? Going through 3 degrees in classical guitar performance, you get put in so many different scenarios for performances. You just came in from the cold, your bus was late, your Uber was late, and all these different competitions I did. You get put into scenarios where you have to be able to play something cold. So it's really not too much, but for many, many years, it felt like I couldn't play a single darn thing on cold hands and would be very, very, very diligent about my warm-up. Nowadays, it's a luxury if I get the time to warm up on a standard day for me now, but I sure love warming up, especially the Cathar Logos book, for those of you that are curious. Well, okay. If you're interested in this Dominique Field, it's on the website now. Check it out. It's from 2001. And it's also at a very discounted price compared to most Fields that you'll see from this era, which are very sought after because it has 2 cracks that were repaired by Yuri Zeltins, who is the master of guitar repairs. Did all the Romero family repairs. Everyone in California basically used to go to him, send their guitars to him because he was the best. But the sound of this one does not suffer, as you can tell. It's a ringer, but yes, this is Dominique Field 2001 that I was just playing. I also showed you this Jean-Noel Rohe guitar from 2024. Brand new condition, this one. Amazing guitar. And then last but not least here, or it was the first guitar I showed today, was Carlos Juan Busquiel. This one's also on the website. The Rohe is not on the website yet, so you'll have to send me a message about that one for pricing. This is a very reasonably priced instrument by Busquiel, a great Spanish guitar that just has so much punch and flavor. Thank you all so much for watching the stream today. I've got to run, but Drew says, come to Toronto. I know a ramen place. Yes, we will go there and we will leave a nice review. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Great to see you here, and maybe by next week my hair will have grown back a little bit more. So, see you. Thanks for the great comments, and check out the video release that will be coming out tomorrow.